Greetings Rummies and welcome to Rum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to the fourth race of the Evolution Racing Academy today at Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. And apologies for being a little bit late. YouTube was having a moment or two or three or whatever. Seems it's the same that happened to one of the drivers right now. Today it's 90 minutes. I won't be alone. As always, I'm sharing the mic with the man with the voice of 1,000 angels, Cody.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. It is, it's Spain. We're going to Spain. Cerda's home track, kind of, sort of, ish.
More Barcelona than this, if we're talking about home, but yeah.
Fair enough. Well, here we are. We are going live. We joined you on the out lap, and it is green, green, green here to turn one. Turn one is Aspar Corner. It is a fast left-hander after the straightaway, and we have some very narrow driving going through there, coming around here. This is turn two, Duhan Corner. 3 wide around the corner here. Bunch of movement going on, but we're all pretty clean, it looks like so far. Everyone is navigating the course pretty well. Ooh, a little bit off into the grass, but well, off into the dirt. We have a Lamborghini stopped. That is Murasanu, no, not Murasanu, Oliveira. No, not, yes, Oliveira. No, that's a Porsche. It was a Lamborghini that went off.
I don't find it anymore.
Yeah, I think we might have had a disconnect at the start.
Oh.
But Kossuth is in the lead from Kossuth Motorsports. He's a driver that we haven't seen much of this championship so far.
Yeah, he was not there in the last two races.
Yes, but he's here and he's taken an early lead. It was a familiar name. Berghuis, who started us off, but he's already in the pits. So that McLaren has had some sort of an issue that has sent the past race winner and I believe qualifying leader into the pits. But Limburgs is close behind Kossuth. Now that's a familiar place for that BMW to be. And then it's Christo and Pattenden in 4th place. A lot going on here at the start, and we are coming around this corner. Is turn 10 and 11.
That's Jaume Macia.
Yes, that's the one.
I have the Wikipedia map open. It's not as if I know them by heart. Valencia Ricardo Tormo is not a track I know well or at all, so I just go by Wikipedia, and if you say 10, I'm able to find out. Kossuth is on fire. I mean, he already won one race, if I remember correctly, the first race. He wasn't there on the last 2 races, and here he just grabbed the first position and is running away with it.
Well, he is a driver clearly with pace and speed, and he has the benefit coming into this. He does not have a success penalty from the last round.
Yeah.
Limburgs, who's trailing him in 2nd place, and Christo close behind in tow in 3rd, have a 10-second and 5-second penalty that they will have to take at some point in the race that Kossuth does not have to take. And we say penalty, it's a success penalty. They didn't do anything wrong, but they performed quickly and they performed well in the last race, and so to balance out the grid and make sure that no one person runs away with the championship, we have this system in Evolution Racing Academy where you get a time penalty, success ballast, if you will, added to your pit time that has to be taken, and Kosut does not have to deal with that in this race.
Does any other nowadays active series have that? I know that DTM, Class 1 DTM had it, at least for a long while, but I don't know that there's any other series that is going on nowadays that has those.
Not to my knowledge with anything major that I know of. Certainly not in any American motorsport.
Isn't it something that they're thinking about for IndyCar or NASCAR or something like that?
I have no idea. I haven't heard anything one way or the other.
I may be imagining things. But let's look while Kosut is quite well in his position. Let's look a little bit down the grid. We have Pattenden, McDonald, and Calgaro, and now Slater comes to it for fifth, which is what we are seeing right now. Near enough that stuff could happen. Yes, that's a technical term. Then we have Jordan, Wraith, and Cedric for ninth. And Cedric looks as if he's about to pounce, but thinks better of it. He'll have enough opportunities. And then we have Wolf, Gale, Roth, Stoyakov, Parois, Fox, Knight, Bidell, Stancer for 12th. That's a whole lot of people. They're all near enough to each other. Russo, 0.3 of a second away from Gies. So I'm going up to see if there's anything going on. No, they all have a second away from each other, but as we know, that can change in like nothing. And look at that. We got Russo taking over Gies' place. And Van Holland is now quite near to Gies. Yeah, keep... Yep, go ahead.
That Nissan now leading 3 Porsches in a row. I love whenever, because you have multi-class racing, and it's a wonderful thing, and you have endurance racing and all these different makes of cars all racing together, and in these series all balanced to perform similarly. And I love it whenever you just end up with a line of the same kind of car. I don't know what it is about that. I just always find it fun. We had a race a while ago that we commentated that had like 6 McLarens all in a row together, drafting off each other. That was amazing. I think that was Spa, if I'm remembering correctly. That was
Drive for
fantastic. Yes, yeah, that was it. That was it. Yes.
It sounds very much like the Drive for Dean.
I believe it was. If it was Spa, I think that's the most recent we've been to Spa was the Drive for Dean. Yes. All right. Let's see. He looks like he's far afield of everyone else on track, but he's actually he's trailing pretty far back. Chris Cow, Nubs Racing, is a driver that has played a pivotal role in some previous seasons, especially with some of the upper mid-pack fights. He's having a rough day today down in 33rd. Slightly rougher than that, Berghuis, who started on pole, he has had the fastest lap of the race so far in his McLaren. Hey, mentioning the McLaren. He's all the way down in 34th. He had an issue at the start of the race and ended up in the pits off the line, or shortly after coming off the line. And so he has a massive uphill battle if he wants anything close to the position that he had last time around. And to make matters worse, because he was successful last time around, he has a 15-second penalty to deal with.
We're watching Becca against Perry. They are very near here. It's Perry, Becca, and Muresanu for 24th. While I keep watching if there's... Oh, Cedric. Very, very well.
Track temperature, by the way, 37 degrees Celsius.
Yeah,
it's a hot one.
Yep, we said that was a reason the heat.
And if you are wondering what that is in Fahrenheit, that's 98.6 degrees. And if you're a southerner in Texas, yes, Europeans consider that unbearably hot.
It's even hotter if you are inside of one of these cars.
Well, certainly. But what that means for the simulation is that tire degradation is going to be a much bigger concern in this race than in some of the others that we've seen.
Yeah, especially because this is a 90-minute race. 2 pit stops, 2 obligatory pit stops. You can make more if you think you need them. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the drivers deal with their tires, who is better suited to deal well with the tires, who's a tire whisperer, and who will maybe only do 2 while others will be struggling with the tires. Absolutely. Interestingly enough, while we have Berko is Limburg and Christo, who both have success penalties, which means that they were successful in the last race, are at 2nd and 3rd, so they are for now quite successful in this race too.
Yeah, it is looking that way, but of course, once we start going through pit stops, they serve those penalties. There's a good chance, especially with all the competition they have right on their rear bumpers, that that could very much change in the order, because that's exactly what that success penalty is designed to do.
And we are watching Cedric against Wraith, because Cedric is trying to find a gap to be able to overtake Wraith, but for now it's a battle, and it's a battle that doesn't stop, because Wraith is making himself as wide as he can. I don't see a specially defensive line, but he is seeing to it that Cedric has no opportunity. Ooh, and Cedric almost lost control of the car there, losing a couple of tenths of second. We go down to Stoyakov, Roth, Gale, because they are also quite near to each other, while we keep an eye on Cedric, of course. And we have already one of them going into pits. That's Cedric, interestingly enough. For some reason, maybe the tires? But that would be very soon. For some reason, Cedric has gone into pits.
Yeah, it could potentially be a strategic thing. You know, there's 2 pit stops that don't say when they have to happen. But I would more so hazard a guess that if it's this early in the race and he's not visibly damaged, which I'm not sure if he is or not. Let me check. 68, Cedric. Nothing I can see from my camera. It could be some sort of failure to, it looks like it looked like the kind of shift back from the pits of having done tires. So it might be that he ran like softs or hards and was falling down the order and decided to switch to mediums
but
or
he
something to
wasn't-
that effect.
He wasn't. He was battling against Wraith and making life difficult for Wraith.
Yeah, I can only opine.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. It's just speculation.
Absolutely. Maybe he said, you know what? I know that I can do, I don't know, an hour on these tires, and I cannot get my way around Wraith. So best thing I can do now is go into pits, get a new set of tires, because I know I can drive a long way with them, and then when I come out, I'm on free air with new tires and can press forward because there's almost nobody around me. It's a strategy, of course.
Possible. Hey, let's take a look. There's a big train of cars from 5th place through to 9th place, and we're heating up here at Valencia. We've got Jordan fighting with Slater, who's fighting with Calgaro in the 50 Lamborghini. It looks like Slater has the pace and is trying to look for an opening to get around Calgaro. And Calgaro is making that Lamborghini very wide. Of course, all these drivers have quite a bit of pace. So it's really just marginal differences. Calgaro is really squirrely on corner exits. I think that Lamborghini is getting kind of loose. And Slater here, he's got the overspeed. He's looking towards the inside. Brakes a little bit earlier than Calgaro, but he's staying right by him. Calgaro runs wide into the marbles. Slater's still looking to the inside. Looks like he wants to try to slingshot around, but doesn't quite do it. And then, yeah, Slater gets the little bit of a slide out of the corner, and Calgaro is getting a better line now.
And that all is helping Jordan, who is now very near to Slater.
Yes, yeah. Jordan has been creeping up there. He was half a second back. Now he's 0.3 seconds back. Marginal things, it doesn't sound like a lot of time. You know, the time that I'm saying this is just much, much larger than that. But when you're racing, those tenths are everything, especially when these drivers are racing as close as they are. Absolutely putting on a masterclass for us today. Now, Slater, he was kind of getting kind of hot and heavy trying to pass Calgaro. It seems that he's kind of cooled down a little bit. Runs wide into the gravel there. I was going to say grass, but it's a lot more gravel than grass around this circuit. And yeah, I think maybe you know, like we said, tire wear is an issue. Tire temperature is also going to be an issue, just, you know, with the track temperature being as high as it is. And so it's not going to take much to overdrive the tires and to push it a little bit harder than you should. And it'll reel you back in if you're trying to attack too aggressively. That may have been what we see with Slater there.
Meanwhile,
now let's go towards.
I showed the replay. Limburg took first place from Kossuth, who I think he didn't do any error. At least it didn't look like an error. But Limburg just went to the inside line and took Kossuth's place fair and square. And now Kossuth is putting the pressure on Limburg.
Yeah, and boy is he ever. 0.3 seconds back. Similar gap to what we were seeing pretty uniformly through that gaggle that we were covering while this pass took place. So sorry about that. But Kossuth with a really bad exit out of there, and then you can just watch the distance grow in between these guys. Now, I would say the AMG and the BMW both have the strong suit of having big V8 engines, but the AMG I think has a little bit better straight line speed, a little bit more acceleration and power than the BMW, which is slightly more handling focused. And you could really see that where, Kosa in the straight was caught up to Limburg. Not caught up to, but he had a really bad exit, and he was falling behind. And then by the end of the straight, he was actually starting to gain on him a little bit. But now as they go into the corners here, Limburg's is starting to get a little bit more speed. That gap has increased to about 3/4 of a second. When a lap ago this time it was about 0.3 seconds, 0.2 seconds. And so now it looks like Limburg's, now that he's out in front of Kosut, is going to continue that lead. But it looks like here Kosut's he had a really good corner entry, but kind of overshot it there at the end.
Yeah.
So that would mean that he carried too much speed into the corner.
And now he's 1 second away, so we're moving to Calgaro, Slater, Jordan, Wraith for 7th. A battle that we already had in our sights before, and it's still going wrong.
Yeah, tell you what, last time at this corner, Slater also kind of didn't have the right racing line through the corner, and we saw that again right as we cut back. And now Jordan is knocking on Slater's door, and that McLaren's really good in fast change corners. So Jordan now, he's chasing Slater. Slater was chasing Calgaro, putting pressure on Calgaro, and now, oh, look at that. They've all kind of bunched up a little bit as Calgaro braked kind of early for that turn one. And yeah, now they are all way bunched up with each other. Slater gets a comparably better line. Jordan much better on the braking zones here than Slater is. You can really see these drivers. Of course, they're driving different cars and they have different driving styles. And you can see it all kind of equalized.
Oh!
Whoa! Slide from Calgaro. Is Slater going to be able to take advantage? He is right on his tail. He's looking towards the outside. The track coming up is not going to be in his favor for this, but if he can stay glued to the back of Calgaro, they're going to be coming around to a hairpin. Calgaro may be able to slip onto the inside. I'm sorry, Slater may be able to slip onto the inside. Calgaro takes a defensive line that wasn't possible. But now let's see. Remember, Jordan is still close behind as well. And Wraith as well is also getting ever closer as these drivers are battling it out. Whenever you're fighting, it's not the same as just hot lapping around a circuit by yourself, extracting the best times that you can. And so a driver with cleaner air like Wraith will be able to catch up. And we've seen that. Wraith is now 0.2 seconds behind Jordan, who kind of slipped back on corner exit into the start-finish straight. But whoa, Jordan with a massive slingshot around turn one, catches right back up, gets a little bit squirrely on corner exit out of turn two, that Jordan does. And all of these drivers here are racing really, really close together. We haven't seen any passes, but you're seeing the drivers come in and out of striking distance. Whoa, big spin, big crash. That's a BMW of McDonald. That's McDonald in the number 469 BMW, drops down from 10th into 15th now to get that going again. It looked like he spun it all by himself there on corner exit. That's one of the harder corners. Oh, we also have the number 808 car off into the gravel trap.
That's Tetley.
Yes, that is Tetley. And yeah, he's facing the right direction again, moving again. He's down. He's having a really rough day today. Down in dead last, 35th place. Not a slow driver either, so it's interesting to see him down there with Berghuis. They've definitely left a lot of opportunities for underdogs to take advantage. And hey, McDonald he's getting going again. Fox has passed him. I'm taking a look at the onboard of McDonald, and you can just see his hood flapping in the breeze from that front end damage. He hit that wall kind of hard.
And the group that we've been following all the time of Calgaro, Slater, Jordan are now lapping cars, and Calgaro was very clever in not allowing any situation to be set up, because that is always, when you're racing so near to each other, that's always an opportunity for the one behind to force his way in front of you.
Of note, we're 25 minutes in. Fabiano Russo takes a pit stop. He's been kind of far down the order, but he's one of the Nissan drivers that was pretty important earlier in the championship, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm thinking back a few weeks, and we've had races since then. But if I remember correctly, I believe it was...
Slater with a big error there that costs him almost a whole second. Interestingly enough, Jordan was this time not near enough, so he could not take the position. But of course, Calgaro is now gonna take a couple of very deep breaths and thank his luck.
At turn 12, Flynn Van Holland for Windrush Racing. That's the number 5 Porsche. He had an off. I think he slid sideways, maybe touched a barrier, but he gets going again. Just of note.
Oh, and he hit. Who was it? Geese, I think.
Oh, okay. It was Geese. Contact with Geese then. Okay.
So no, Van Holland hit. So they were side by side, and I think it was a racing incident. Van Holland just hit Geese sideways and lost control of the car because of that.
I love the replay function.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just saw the immediate aftermath, so thank you for going back and taking a look at it for us.
And who
Battle
would
for
be
11th, Stojakov.
Yeah,
Battle for 11th, Stojakov is touching Gale.
Oh,
ooh.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, big hit. I'm surprised that Gale didn't get turned around there. It was kind of a double tap. One of them spun Gale, and the other put Gale back facing the right direction again. So that's in a way lucky. But Stojakov was really coming in hot there for Gale. There is racing aggressively, and there is just absolutely bouncing around your opponent on track, and that was the latter, not the former.
In the meantime,
Wraith
is going into pits.
Yes, that was of note. He was in the top 5.
Stojakov goes for it.
Diving, big dive, big aggressive dive down, and he gets the pass on Gale for the moment, but Gale is alongside him. The track
He's got the inside now.
Whoa!
That's very aggressive. Yeah.
Revenge hit for sure. Oh boy. Yeah, the stewards will be taking a look at both incidents. I'm pretty confident. Whatever Gale could have expected to gain in terms of a penalty against his opponent, Stojakov, I think he might have lost. They might just both get penalties at that point. Man, yeah, solve it after the race, fellas. But it sure looks wild from over here.
In the meantime, Slater has come nearer to Calgaro again.
Yeah, we've seen some of the other battles, Jordan versus Slater, Calgaro and Pattenden even earlier on kind of fizzle out. But one for sure is Slater and Calgaro. Let's see, was that Jordan coming out of the pits there?
I'm not sure.
Who was that coming out of the pits?
Yeah, I think it was.
Or was that Fox? No, that was Fox down below. I was thinking, man, is that for position? There's no way. But Roy comes into the pits. And Pattenden is in the pits as well. Notable first pits there. But yeah, Slater 0.2 seconds away from Calgaro, now 0.4 seconds away. The difference one corner can make, my goodness. But yet still he stays competitive, and going in hot on corner entry. He's trying to set up for a slingshot here on the straightaway. Can he get enough power through this straightaway to catch up? No, but he maintains kind of a similar distance. Actually lost quite a bit there, 0.7 seconds back now, a loss of 0.4 seconds from when I last looked. And yeah, Calgaro is really nailing his corners. Slater a little bit less so right now. This corner here will be very important. How well can Slater turn the cornering energy into straight line speed? He's kind of maintaining at 0.8 seconds. He does gain on Jordan, who's behind him and trying to chase him down. At one point in the last lap, he got down as much as 0.7
Calgaro
seconds.
Goes very wide.
Yeah, Calgaro goes wide and gets a little bit loose there, more importantly, and Slater is able to catch up in turn 2. Now that gap goes down to 0.4 seconds. You see how rapidly this can change in a lap.
Yeah.
And again, that doesn't sound like a lot of time. You know, it's less than a second, but less than a second is everything whenever you are racing at the high levels that these drivers are. Now, I talk about high levels. One thing that we have not talked about much in this race, if you're new to this championship, there's a platinum division that is off racing somewhere else. And they're all having a good time. But we are racing 3 divisions on track here today. We are racing a gold class, a silver class, and a bronze class. Limburg, she's the gold driver. Gold is up at the top. Wow, Calgaro had a big slide there. Slater was almost able to capitalize on it, but not quite. But yes, we have a gold class, we have a bronze class, we have a silver class. And right now, Kosut, who's actually a silver driver, he's coming into the pits. Limburg's, your leader, gold driver, comes into the pits, and now it's Christo who's in the lead, at least temporarily. But yeah, Gamble also, and of course we're starting to go in the pit stop shuffle here with the leaders. But Gamble, he's a bronze driver, and the reason I bring up the multi-class stuff is he is ahead currently of every single gold and silver driver and bronze driver, except for one, and that is Christo. But yeah, here in the pit stop shuffle, our
tons of
recurring battle. Yeah, lots of things going on. Notably, Slater and Calgaro have moved up to 4th and 3rd place. So this is becoming an important battle. But do remember, Calgaro and Slater, have not taken their pit stops yet. So they will need to. They don't have any performance ballast from the last, time, or I say ballast penalty from the last time to wait out or anything like that. But they do have to take their pit stop. So the drivers that were ahead of them, that pit and are now behind them, will most likely end up ahead of them again. But right now, Calgaro is in the top 3. Oh, Slater has a really, really, really hard time through Champi Herreros. And now they're coming into some lap traffic. And that's going to make things very interesting, as Calgaro is most likely going to, take the opportunity to try to draft behind lap down Porsche. They're trying not to drift so much, Slater. Jordan also is getting closer and closer, 0.6 seconds, 0.5 seconds around there. Slater now 0.3 seconds back. The car ahead of Calgaro is a lap down car. He moves away to let them by. And Calgaro now has a little bit of fresh air before we get to some more cars to get around. So Calgaro, if I'm Calgaro, I'm not, but if I am Calgaro, I'm going to race and lead Slater until I get to the next round of traffic, or until it's my scheduled time to come in for pits, but not any more than that. And that slide from Slater might indicate that for Slater it's time to come in and get new tires as well, because he's been racing Calgaro very hard. Whoa, Calgaro has a really hard time through Champi Herreros, and Slater now gets alongside him, maybe ahead of him.
He
does get ahead of him. And Calgaro now slips behind Slater.
And
Slater's
Jordan
been
is also
working
on the
for that
pounds.
position.
Oh yeah, a long time.
Yeah, this could be a double loss for Calgaro as Jordan's starting to look towards the inside here on the braking zone. Calgaro plays defensive very well and has a good exit. So Calgaro is playing both aggressive and defensive at the same time here, really
And
working
doing it well.
hard.
Yeah,
doing it amazingly well. This is the battle for third. Slater currently sitting in third place here. Of course, we are in the pit stop transition area of the race.
yeah, but none of this
the
has
race.
have gone into pits yet. So.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to mention. And the
okay.
reason that that's important is that any one of these drivers could decide to opt out of this battle and go into the pits. So we are seeing a fight. We're seeing a pretty hard fight. 469 car spins it on Champi Herreros, a corner that's kind of a hard one for some drivers to get. Calgaro, he's alongside. It's a drag race. They touch. Oh boy. It is a massive drag race, and Slater has a really slow way through that corner. Calgaro's still alongside him. Looks like, whoa, everyone getting really close together here. Slater and Calgaro are fighting each other.
And Jordan trying to find a
Whoa,
way.
A spin behind. That's
334 Porsche.
Yeah, that's a Porsche. Which Porsche?
334.
334 Porsche. Going ahead and commentate. That's Maroney, and he's going to go on ahead and take the hint and go into the pits.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lap down car that ended up spinning. But yeah, the battle continues, and dare I say, intensifies as Jordan chases Slater, who chases Calgaro. Man, they were running right alongside each other. Calgaro gets the lead back from Slater, and it's going to continue to be intense. It looks like until one of these drivers taps out. Again, any one of these drivers could decide that you know what. This is getting dangerous. I'm going to bow out. I'm going to take my pit stop now. It's time. They're going to take 2 pit stops in this. We are, a third of the way through the race. It's the time to take your first of 2 pit stops. But these drivers are not doing that. They are fighting. They're battling it out. Part of me wonders if they're just having fun and they want to stay in. Strategy be damned, because this looks like an amazing fun. All of these drivers. There is a notable driver. He's a good ways behind these guys, and remember, these guys still have to pit. But Kosut has taken his pit stop, and he is now worked his way up to be behind Jordan. Not immediately behind Jordan. He's not the car behind Jordan, not that 622 car. He still has 26 seconds to make up.
Which is about 1 pit stop.
Yes, exactly. So, after these guys come out of the pits, you gotta wonder, is this gonna be a bigger fight? Or will Kosut come out ahead of these guys because they're battling each other so much?
So out of all the drivers, taking away all the drivers that have not done a pit stop, Kosut is the one on pole. He's got the first position of all the drivers that have already taken one of their 2 obligatory pit stops.
Yes, that means look at the broadcast timing bar there and see 1 through 5, positions 1 through 5. Those are the drivers who have not taken their pit stop yet. At this point, everyone else except for 30th position has taken at least 1 pit stop. And Calgaro went really rough over the rumble strips there on corner exit, but then Slater followed him pretty much immediately after, and so there was no major gains to be had. But these guys right now consistent about half a second away from each other, and then Jordan just under a second back. So we're seeing this cool down just a little bit, but Slater is, just a couple of corners away from closing that gap. Look at that. There it is. Right on cue. He closes that gap.
Yeah. But slides a little bit.
Yeah, he came into that corner kind of hot, which was what closed the gap, but then Calgaro, who was set up better for the corner exit than Slater was, and that all means that Jordan closes in over half a second pretty much immediately. Calgaro a slide of the Lamborghini, and now Slater 0.2 seconds away. He's looking towards the inside. I think he telegraphed his move a little bit too much because Calgaro is taking a very defensive line. Not a quick line, but it's a line that will prevent someone from dive bombing down to the inside of you. And you see Calgaro, he really knows how to race defensively, just covering that inside line, forcing Slater, if he's going to make a move, to go around the outside, which of course you have to cover a wider radius. Whoa, Slater with a real rough line through there, both drivers over the rumble strips. And Jordan 0.1 seconds back from Slater. Whoa, slingshots down.
Yeah, no.
And kind of was a little over ambitious there. Definitely did not get the exit that he wanted, but that did put him in the slipstream, so he's not losing any time off of the straight. And there's no better car in the ACC repertoire than the 720S GT3 for a quick change corner. Whoa, that is a lap down car 622 trying to get his lap back. As these drivers have been fighting, there's been some traffic building up behind. These guys are not for position, but they are physically on track. They are behind them, and don't think for a minute that if they're slowed down by these guys who are a lap ahead of them, that they won't hesitate to pass.
And we know that we are staying a long time with this battle, but dang, it's a hot battle. On the other hand, Russo...
You take a look at Russo and Pattenden, yeah.
Exactly.
They're right alongside each other on the straightaway. That's a drag race to the end that Russo seems to win. And yeah, really some good racing from these guys here as well. Slater and Jordan have gone back to 0.7 seconds apart. We'll keep our eye on it. But yeah, this fight here with Russo and Pattenden is a good one, but I don't think it'll last for too much longer. Pattenden a silver driver, Russo a gold driver, and now that Russo has gotten ahead of Pattenden, all he needs is one good lap to really just send it and leave Pattenden and everyone else behind him in the dust.
Looks like he's doing.
Yes,
Jordan
looks
has
like
gone
it.
into pits.
We knew one of them would tap out first.
Yeah. It's about time. I mean, we are halfway through this race.
Well, if it is the case that they have to take 2 pit stops, then these guys have a pit stop and then another to do. If it's not the case, then this was a good
no, they
strategy.
do have to take both.
Right, exactly. But it is the case, so Jordan and everyone else ahead of him who has not taken a pit stop yet is going to have to really work to make up for it.
Interestingly, for a while it looked as if Russo was moving away from Pattenden, but now this has changed. Pattenden is still not more than half a second away from Russo. He's regained his time.
Yeah, the gap rapidly increased once Russo made the initial pass. It went from 0 to 0.8 seconds pretty consistently, and then whenever we tuned back in just now, Pattenden had brought down that gap to 0.5 seconds. Although now that we say something, it's gone back to 0.9 seconds.
Yeah, it looks Calgaro, by the way, into pits. It looks as if Pattenden is not so good in the first and second sector, and on the other hand, Russo is not so good in the third sector, and at the end of the day, they kind of equalize themselves.
Guess who
Slater
followed Calgaro
also
into the pits? Yeah, I was gonna say. And now the really big question is who's going to come out of the pits first.
Where's Kossuth?
Oh, that's a very good question.
He's on 33rd.
Yeah,
he must have had
dropped
an issue.
Way down.
That's
yeah,
strange.
we were so wrapped up in these two battles. Kossuth is over a minute behind 32nd, so he took an extended period of time off track. So that's a big issue for Kossuth.
Yeah, he would have been first, like right now. No, maybe not directly right now, but soon enough. That's a pity.
Well, I'll tell you what, talking about Calgaro and Slater again, because we can't get enough of them. Calgaro got out ahead, way out ahead of Slater. Calgaro comes out of the pits in 8th. Slater comes out in 17th.
So
that is
maybe one of them took more fuel than the other.
Quite possibly. Yeah, that is all the difference a pit stop can make. Goodness. Stewart spends
what a difference a pit stop makes.
Yes. Stewart was going around. It looked like maybe there was some involvement with the 68 Porsche. I'm looking at a replay to tell you kind of what was going on with that incident. No, it was right as the 68 Porsche was going by, but Stewart in the 164 Aston Martin went around a tight corner, hit a sausage curb that launched his car up into the air, or at least not fully up into the air, but the front end of his car up into the air, and pretty much without any steering wheels on the ground, ended up sliding off track.
And guess who is not getting away? Russo from Pattenden.
Yeah, that battle has tightened despite all odds. You could say.
we saw Pattenden doing having an error, and he once again. So Russo is not consistent enough to get away from Pattenden.
Well, they've got a lap down car to pass, both of them. Moves off of the racing line, but coming in, it might split them. No, okay. Thankfully, he gets out of the way. Right on the apex, though, Pattenden made the pass. So that did alter things a little bit. But Pattenden maintains 0.2 seconds back. Whoa, Pattenden really laid into the brakes there. Dived out of the way to avoid the back end of Russo. And loses a lot of time to Russo. 0.8 seconds back now. Gamble, the bronze driver who was briefly in the lead because he hadn't taken a pit stop yet, has taken his pit stop. And so now we no longer have a bronze driver leading the race. And it is Limburg's post pit stop shuffle who is out in front, your leader of the race, followed shortly by Christo. Although, am I correct in seeing Gamble come out of the pits and he's in 3rd overall?
Yeah, at least that's what my timing says too.
Well, that's fantastic. That's really impressive. He's 15 seconds behind Christo, but he is 7 seconds ahead of Russo and Pattenden, who are fighting it out right now.
We're still fighting it out. I mean, Pattenden was almost a second away, and now he's reduced that time to less than half a second once again. So this is a very interesting.
Yeah, you can see
goes
again,
into pits and does his last pit stop.
Wraith also is in the pits.
Last obligatory.
Yeah, that's an important asterisk, you know,
yeah.
to attach to that.
Oh, and again, Pattenden and Russo come towards lapped cars who are, on the other hand, having a battle. Pattenden tries to find a way and hits one of the lapped cars.
That was Stewart. Yeah, he hit Stewart in the Aston Martin.
And loses a lot of
spins him
time
out.
because of that.
Yeah, 2 seconds. He's lost in the race against Russo, and now it's Knight going by Pattenden. So Pattenden now is chasing yet another Nissan, but this time by a different driver and 1 position back.
Yeah, Pattenden tried to find a different line through the lapped cars than Russo was, and he took the wrong one. Yeah, hindsight is 2020.
Fighting your way around lapped cars is tricky because the lap down cars are also having their own fight in that case, and you do have to be cognizant. You know, they are technically supposed to let you by, but if they are fighting and one is more generous in letting the other lap up car by than the other one, well, then you'll lose your position. And so you can only be so generous in letting a lap down car by. Big slide from Pattenden on corner exit there. But yeah, you can only be so generous. And so whenever you're coming up on some lap down cars that are fighting, they can't both put down their arms. You know, if both put down their arms, then all good. But you end up with actually a prisoner's dilemma of sim racing, where if one puts down their arms and the other doesn't, well, then the one who put down their arms only hurts themselves. And whoa, is that Russo going way wide? It is, and Knight passes Russo on the straightaway between turn 1 and turn 2. Russo way misjudged the corner, and Knight in just a few laps has gone from 6th place into 4th place.
Good for him.
Absolutely. And now it's Pattenden and Russo fighting
once
yet
again. But for a lower position.
Yes, for one position lower. The number 413 car spun it out. They're back going again, but they spun it out on Adrian Campos' corner, the last corner before the start finish straight, far afield of where these drivers are competing right now that we're taking a look at.
Well, we're looking now at the battle for 12 between Shefford, Parois, Perry, and Van Holland.
Paroy and Perry, it's like the anglicized and the French version of the same name. Is that just me? Paroy, Perry?
Could be. I don't know. I don't know enough of... what's the science of surnames called? It's not heraldics. I don't remember. But I don't know enough of
Etymology
that.
is for general words.
Yeah. While entomology is for insects. Don't get both confused. You're gonna get strange looks. Okay, I looked that word in my entomology dictionary and didn't find it. Yeah, well, maybe...
Yeah, that bugs me too.
Parois getting ahead of Sheffield. And Perry also. Does Sheffield?
my genius goes unnoticed.
Oh no, I heard it, but I was keeping up with this here.
Oh, of course. Sorry, I'm laughing my butt off over here. Man, I am impressed. Russo and Pattenden, they've switched positions now, but it is still, after all these laps, an interesting fight. Incredible stuff.
Russo once again chasing Pattenden, man, and he thought he had that done.
Well, no, Pattenden was chasing Russo. Pattenden passed Russo for position. Russo, who was originally in fourth, got passed
exactly.
by Knight, and then now by Pattenden.
Yeah, but a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Russo was behind Pattenden. Then he was at last able to make it. Remember, Russo is
yes,
is gold, Pattenden is silver, and no. It looked as if Russo was going to be able, and Roth is profiting from that because he's coming very near to these two.
Yeah, Roth in the 727 Era Racing Team. Porsche is a driver we haven't talked about much. Man, look at the slip angle on Pattenden. Loses a lot of time there. And Russo is almost alongside him. Roth looking down towards the inside. Russo going, I think, preemptively wide to avoid any contact with Roth. Good defensive driving there. Roth into the back of Russo. Yeah, Russo couldn't play defensive enough against that one.
Oh, and I don't think what Russo is doing is right.
It's Gale now is the other Nissan GTR who has taken the place ahead of Roth, and Pattenden is now a good bit ahead of Russo. Pattenden 5th place. Remember, that was a battle for 5th place. And Russo now, after that incident with Roth, he's been shoved down into 11th. There was a big group of cars that went by, and Russo smartly takes the opportunity for his second pit stop here as we're getting close to the 30-minute mark.
That means that at the moment, I was looking, we have a battle here. Jordan against Stancer for 18th.
Pretty far down the order, and this is a silver driver against a gold driver. But interestingly enough, they are both McLarens. So Formula McLaren back again for a moment.
And commentators curse, no sooner have I spoken about him, Jordan gets a drive-through. Those normally are for track limits.
Yeah, if it's in this part of the track, it's definitely for track limits. 'Cause there's not a whole lot else you could do.
And we're watching now Proyce, Perry, Van Holland for 10th. What else do we have here? Wraith against Murisano for 22nd. Again,
Stojikov comes into the pits.
Yeah, we're having again the pit stop shuffle, as you call it, because we have a lot of drivers who've already been in pits and who look as if they are far, far behind, and they aren't. By the way, Oliveira has not been once in pits.
I'll tell you what, we have a lot of pits left to go. These drivers have to do 2 pit stops. Well, the top 18 drivers, now 16 drivers, the top 16 drivers have not taken 2 pit stops. So you're going to see a lot of shuffling going on. So going into this, let's cap off our top 5. Right now, it is Limburgs in first, Christo in second, Gamble in the bronze Ferrari, the bronze class Ferrari in third, Knight in fourth, and leading the silver class, it's Pattenden in fifth. A lot of that can change here in the last 30 minutes. Stay tuned. If you're just now joining us, you are joining at a great time because we're about to see a lot of shuffling on this hard-fought order of the race.
And no, I don't think any of the drivers is going to be taking fuel. Or if they're taking fuel, not that much. So I don't think that's gonna be very different. So I was thinking about the timing in pit stops. We already saw that there was a driver a while ago who took a longer time, and I suppose it was because of fuel. And but those who are now going into pit, I don't think they're gonna take enough fuel to really change the timing, so I expect them all to spend about the same time in pit.
Well, 2 drivers coming into pits, Oliveira and Perry is in the pit.
Vera doing his first pit stop at all.
Yeah, he's got a lot of catching up to do. It's a strategy, but it's not a strategy that has served him very well because of the bronze class, he's dead last. So if it was for any advantageous reasons, it didn't work. Typically, you would want to space your pit stops out pretty evenly, and so that way you're not spending too much time on tires that are incredibly old.
And Pattenden.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's one of your top 5 coming into pit.
Yeah, let's see where he comes. At the moment, the leaderboard of the ones that do not have to do any obligatory pit stop anymore is out. That very well change. Oh, a lot of drivers into pits. Roy, Shefford, Van Holland, Stancer. That's a conga line of pit stops. Ooh, another song for the
There you go.
For once, it's not going to be a country and western song, it's gonna be a car.
We have a ton of drivers in pits. Stancer's in pits, Van Holland's in pits, Shepard's in pits, Baroy is in pits, Pattenden has just come out of the pits, and he's not the only one as well. Volt down in 28th comes into pit. He's in the Honda NSX. He's the only driver on the grid in a Honda NSX.
Oh, Parois gets a stop and go of 30 seconds. That means that he made a boo-boo in his pit stop.
He made a boo-boo exiting his pit stop. I'm pretty sure because he sped out of the pit lane. Knight comes into pits. That's one of your top 5.
Children, you do want to know very precisely where the pit limiter is on your wheel, because you don't use it that much, but it's still a very important button.
And it's a strange thing to get that stop go on pit exit.
Well, what can very well happen is you think you have already crossed the line, the pit line, and you can let go of the pit limiter, and you were wrong, and the sim says, you know, that was too soon. Been there, done that. Saw the movie, or better said, the replay, and cried into my t-shirt.
Well, biggest mover of the race so far goes to Jeffrey Bacher for Soaring Crane Racing. He's a bronze driver. He's currently running 7th place overall and 2nd place in class. And he has moved up 25 positions since the start of the race.
Well, he still has one pit stop.
He does.
But he may do the pit stop on the last lap like he did 2 races ago.
So I would also say so too do all the drivers ahead of him.
Correct.
Yeah. Which I'm going to wonder if he's going to come in this lap. He is not.
As I said, remember that it was, I think, 2 races ago. He waited until, I don't know, the last or one before last lap to go into pits. So it seems to be kind of a strategy. Let's see when he goes. Who is into pits is Limburgs.
And who is out of pits is several drivers, including Murasano and Peroy. Just get back out on track right now. Peroy getting back out on track in 24th. That was a long time in the pits for Peroy, and probably not the pit stop that he wanted. He's dropped down 7 positions since the start of the race, while I have that statistic open.
Maybe he had to do repairs.
Quite possibly.
Or his car was completely, utterly, and absolutely dry, and he had to load up for having driving.
Limburg's pitted in and is now pitting out. That was one of your leaders. He pit in from the lead, and he comes out in 4th. And then Slater is now exiting the pits. Remember, he served a drive-through penalty, so he has now dropped down into 32nd place. Of the drivers currently on track, I'm not counting Kosut, that puts him in dead last. Kosut, who started the race almost on pole, and then from the first lap led several laps, ended up having some issue that kept him in the pits for a long time, and he has been in the pits for a while, ever since lap 33. For reference, we're on lap 42 right now.
Oh, mother. Not the kind of race that he was expecting to. Limburgs for now is the first of all of those who have taken both their obligatory pit stops. And I'm checking. Well, no, I mean, he's about 40 seconds away from Christians. I don't think he's gonna jump into first position. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, he's running out of time. You know, it is one thing to take a pit stop right at the end, but you lose the advantage of racing on new tires. Like, you change and have the opportunity of changing into new tires right at the end. Oh, I'm sorry, but if you wait right into the end, you don't get the most out of those tires. You've spent more time of the race racing on old tires than new tires. It's much better to spread out your tire usage as evenly as possible over the 3 tires, the 3 sets of tires that you're going to be using.
Yeah, on the other hand, there's different strategies, of course. I can race quite conservatively for most of the race, and then I get my newest set of tires the 20 last minutes, and then I drive the heck out of those tires. Cedric with a drive-through. So I drive very aggressively the last 20 minutes. There is a lot of different strategies that you can choose, and depending on the way that you drive, one or the other may be better. Limburg moves into 4th position because Vidal is
Well, drivers who need to take another pit stop are the 3 drivers in the lead of the race. That is Calgaro, that is Gamble, and that is Cristo. Everyone else so far has taken a pit stop.
sweet time, but they still have 20 minutes to do so in this 90-minute race at the very, very hot Valencia. 30 degrees Celsius, air temperature 33, track temperature, which is
the 68 Porsche of Cedric comes in for a drive-through. Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt.
No worries.
But in doing that, I believe he drops down a place. No, he drops down 2 places. Shepard and Van Holland both move up 1.
That wasn't such big a loss. I mean, you don't want to lose any position at all, but hey, Limburgs moves into 3rd position now that Gamble is in pits.
Yep, Gamble needed that pit stop. Really slow off the line, Gamble coming out of the pits. It looked like he started it in 4th or something. He was very slow there, originally coming off the line, but he's back out again. And I'll tell you what, if you wait till the last minute and take your pit stop and you come out and you're in 4th place overall, and all but 2 drivers around you have taken their pit stops as well, you know what? You're doing all right.
Yeah,
Gamble
and let's
right
not
now
forget that he's a bronze driver.
Yeah, this bronze driver is on track to take 2nd place if Calgaro and Cristo pit in and end up getting passed in the pits by Limburg and Gamble and maybe Oaks. There's quite a bit of gap between. There's a minute 16 gap to the leader of Cristo. So if Cristo wants to come out in the top 3, he has about a minute 30 seconds of leeway to Limburg's.
And just a small issue with the timing. We're watching Roth against Stoyakov 4:11. Roth 0.3 of a second away from Stoyakov.
Yeah, there's some good fights down the order here. Similar distance is also Limburg's Calgaro, but again, Calgaro is kind of a dead man walking on track, since he will need to come in to take a pit stop before the end of the race, as will
on
Cristo.
On the other hand, Limburgs will not want to lose any time behind Calgaro, who I suppose with his old tires is slower than him.
Yeah, most likely. Limburg's, if he can get around him, of course he will.
Yeah.
But I will say Limburg's has a comfortable 30-second gap to the car behind. So I think he's probably feeling pretty good overall.
Yeah, no, he is. And Calgaro goes now into pits, so we won't see any battle there. Limburgs moves to 2nd position.
And you could almost call that first, since Christo has not yet taken his pits, and he's the only driver ahead.
Yeah, on the other hand, Limburgs is 45 seconds away from Christo. So, in theory, that would be more than enough time for Christo to go in and out of pits without losing any position. In theory.
Well, the actual time of the pit stop seems to be around 30 seconds, but you've also got to consider that there's the in lap and there's the out lap as well. So the time that you spend even just driving through the pit lane at pit lane speed all counts towards it. 78 car of Russo. Oh,
Yeah.
It's Russo has spun it. Involved in an incident, looks like, with multiple cars.
So I think he spun just all by himself. We're watching the replay right now.
Yeah, we'll find out. Let's see.
No, he hit the 508 or the 508 hit him, and that put him into.
Yeah, that 508 car, that's Gale. That's not the first time that those cars have come in contact together. Yeah, Russo was parked there for a minute on a really unlucky part of the track, just right in the racing line, and you just saw drivers going off into the grass, off wide to try to avoid him.
Roth behind Stoyakov. Still trying to find a way around Stoyakov. Maybe he'll do it right now.
This is Roth trying to crack into the top 10. Here in the last 15 minutes of the race, there is a lot riding on the line to be into the points for this race. And my doorbell is ringing. That's great. I'll be right back.
We're still watching Roth against Stoyakov. We move to Knight against Vidal because Knight is quite near and it's on the straight line. And keeping an eye on the Roth situation, but for now this is the hottest. Knight now very near, he goes on the inside, but I think he cannot make it stick. It doesn't look like it. Another one I'm taking a very good look at is Christo on first to see when he goes into pits and try to find out if he's gonna keep the first position or not. Knight again very near to Vidal.
All right, I'm back.
Limbrix has lost a little bit of time to Christo. Christo is going into pits. Becca, who has done now his 2 pit stops, has gone down to 18th. And Roth very near to Stoyakov. Keeping an eye on these 2 battles, Knight and Vidal for 6, Roth and Stoyakov for 10. Roth trying to find any place around Stoyakov, and Knight trying to find any place around. Christo still there.
Tell you what, the person ringing my doorbell, as if you wanted to know, was a lineman trying to get into my backyard to access a telephone pole.
Oh, okay. You have a telephone pole in your backyard?
It brings in the power to my street.
In your backyard?
I have a forest in my backyard, so it comes in from the forest. There's a utility easement through there.
A long time ago, Germany decided to put most of the cables underground, and Roth now has made his way around Stoyakov, but Stoyakov
in a beautiful pass.
Stoyakov is not letting it go down so lightly.
Yeah, that was a masterclass of a pass. I'll tell you what. If you weren't really paying attention, you wouldn't have known that it would have happened because it was so smooth. That was an incredible pass from Roth there. And then you see Stoyakov really looking towards the inside, but couldn't quite get it done. There's a statistic that I've got up, and that's that Christo only has taken 1 pit, and we're almost in the last 10 minutes of the race. Christo, he's got to take a pit.
At some point, yes.
At some
taking
point.
his sweet time. And Russo gets a drive-through. Oh, great. He's going to be loving this day.
Oh, man. Yeah, Russo, who was at one point battling it out for 5th with Pattenden, has had a massive fall from grace in the last. Oh! Roth and Stoyakov come in contact. That was Stoyakov,
but
just kind of bouncing Roth out of the way.
Yeah, I thought that it looked to me as if Roth had lost control and then Stoyakov had nowhere to go. But
I think it might have been a little bit of both. I think there was both at play there. I think Stoyakov had somewhere to go, but didn't. But I think Roth, yeah, you're correct, did kind of lose it a little bit.
Russo serving his drive-through. And Christo still not in pits. But it seems that his tires are okay because he is not losing any time to Limburg, so he's second. And by the way, Gamble, the highest set bronze driver, is on 3rd overall position. Meanwhile, we're watching Perry against Wraith for 12. And behind them, Shepard and Van Horn. And who is going into pits?
Russo, I believe. No, Berghuis. Berghuis has gone into the pits. That's the number 59 McLaren.
I was saying that looks like a McLaren. Christo is driving a Lamborghini.
No. I said Russo, who is also in the pits. He's in a Nissan. But yeah, no, Christo has not yet come into the pits. The Roll Autosports number 345 Lamborghini has, by my calculations, a little under 6 laps, 5 laps to do it.
The window closes in 7 minutes. Which is still. I need about 1.5 minutes. He's got enough time to decide. Let's move a little bit down. Wraith, Perry, Van Hollen, and Shepard still trying to find a way around each other for 12. Russo. Well, serving the rifle. And Perry takes that, tries to take the place. At least they had a little bit of a touch there. And Van Holland is trying to foul. And that was not nice. Wraith, I think it was, got into Perry.
Yeah, it looked like it. Yeah, so sent Perry, looks like 4 spots down the order. Perry is slid into the wall, facing backwards now. It's not where you want to be. In the last 6.5 minutes of the race, he's dropped way down the order, down into 19th now.
So now we're watching Van Holland, Wraith, Shepard, and Jordan for 12. And I keep an eye on Krista, and he does not going down. Oh! Van Holland loses control, and that's the opportunity for Wraith and Shepard to take his position.
Looks like it.
So we have Wraith, Shepard, Van Holland, Jordan. Jordan was not able to capitalize, but I think he is now. Yeah,
they're alongside each other. He looks like he's got the overspeed. He's way out ahead of him now. And yep, they slot in single file. But man, look at the speed difference. The Porsche looks down into the marbles for an opportunity to pass. Doesn't do it. I think that was kind of a missed opportunity.
Whoa! Who is out? No, none of these drivers. It could very well be that Van Holland's tires are gone already. And that's why he isn't able to put as much speed on it as he would like to. It's what you were saying at the beginning of the race. It's so hot, the tires go away faster than you think. Maybe that's what Van Holland's tires are doing now.
Let's take a look at the battle between Knight and Oaks. That black Nissan that we saw earlier is looking towards the outside. He's in a drag race with Oaks. It's alongside him. He's more than halfway alongside him. But now we have a better braking performance out of Oaks. He's able to maintain the current order of things, and it looks like Knight is going to gain on him. Yeah, he's gaining ever so much, but it looks like, man, yeah, Oaks is doing a really good job of holding off Knight here in the last little bit, but it's close, and it's ever closer. Gale and Pattenden are also battling it out, but it looks like Knight's getting ever closer to Oaks. Let's stay with that one.
Krista goes into pits and has a drive-through.
Oh, yeah, you can stay out in front, but
no,
if
what? That's a strange one.
He's exited the pits, and he has a drive-through on pit exit.
No, but he at least the system is not showing the drive-through anymore. Like
Correct.
it was there for 3 seconds. What?
That is strange. Yeah. It might be that he actually didn't have a drive-through. I'm not sure, and it just ghost showed it. But Knight and Oaks still fighting alongside each other. They're alongside each other going through the final corner of the lap. And it is Oaks, yet still. Knight is really fighting for that position, but he just hasn't gotten it quite yet. He looks towards the outside. Oaks has a very late braking, and it looks like Knight's looking towards the inside. He's alongside him. A little bit ahead of him now, and it looks like he gets the position, but Oaks is still not out of it yet, but it looks like Knight had a really good corner exit there of turn 2 and 3. And now coming into 4 and 5, coming out of 5 now. It looks like Knight's home free, but no, as soon as I say that, Oaks really catches up. But Oaks gets a little bit squirrely, and Knight is able to start running away a little bit more. Again, they're half a second back, but again, half a second can be a lot or a little, and whenever you have 2 minutes left in the race, that's a lot.
And
the fight's
by the way,
continue, but
because of Christoph's pit stop, at the end of the day, Limburgs is in first position, Christopher now on second, and Gamble, the bronze driver, on the third.
Now here's something weird about Christo's pit stop. and the way that ACC has recorded it. You mentioned the drive-through that wasn't. Christo's pit stop count jumped from 1 to 3 with no 2 in between. So there was something strange. You weren't just seeing things. Yeah, ACC saw something. But it is
server
Limburg's.
had a boo-boo, it seems.
Yes, Limburg's is in the lead, coming towards the end. Then Christo in second, and then bronze driver Gamble, that's notable, in third place. Calgaro, who we saw go massively up and down the order in the pit stop shuffle. We saw a lot of Calgaro today. He's sitting in fourth, third place in class. Knight is sitting in 5th place overall, and that rounds out your top 5 coming in towards the end of the race here, but it's not over yet. Pattenden is leading the silver class. Gale, though, is less than a second away from Pattenden here in what is probably going to be the last lap of the race. Yes, almost certain to be the last lap of the race. Limburg's is only in sector 1, 25 seconds to go. We are going to see this lap and no more. And it is, in the silver class, still a fight for the lead of silver class.
7 seconds to go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next time, Limburgs goes through the start and end straight. It's gonna be the end of the race, and we keep with Limburgs because it looks very much as if he will win this race. Hope I don't jinx it and he gets commentators cursed.
Man, if there's ever a way to ensure that there will be commentators cursed, it's to say it exactly like how Serta said it there.
Exactly.
Well,
and the winner of the race is, he got entangled in a 5-way crash. But no commentators curse. Limburgs is going to win the race.
Congratulations. But in the silver class, it is still a fight down to the wire. Let's take a look at Pattenden and Gale if we're not already. The number 97 McLaren is just barely holding off the Nissan that is 0.4 seconds behind him as they come around. They're in sector 2 of the final lap right now. We have drivers finishing the race, and these guys are still in a full-out cat fight.
And Gamble has secured the third position. The highest bronze driver is the overall third. That's a great position.
That is incredibly impressive. Congratulations to Gamble.
Oh, absolutely.
And final corner, it looks like Pattenden was able to hold off Gale, even if only barely, 1 second gap. And Pattenden crosses the line to win the silver class. Gale second in silver, and Stoyakov in third in silver class. And then also for the bronze division, down in 15th overall, Bacher actually was able to pull off at least a good class position.
Yeah.
Second place in class using his waiting till the last minute to take the last pit stop strategy. And Gies rounds out the top 3 of the bronze division. Congratulations to all the class winners, and thanks to everyone for joining us.
And thank you for being here in this race. Next week, there won't be an Evolution Racing Academy race, but we're going to show the first race of the ASRC Miami Oval. It's going to be the IndyCar season, which is already going on, but they asked while we already had accepted ERA's invitation. So it's going to be the first race that we show of the ASRC, and after that, 2 weeks after Miami, we're gonna show their Indy 500 because it's gonna be the IndyCar season. Next week, no ERA. Week after that, ERA, and let me take a look. It's gonna be Paul Ricard. Oh, the one that always puts me to sleep. In any way, any last words from you, Cody?
What a great way to sell that race. I'm excited for Paul Ricard because it's a really colorful track. It is fun to watch the cars go around on the track. And I hope that you all will join us to watch the cars go around on the track at Paul Ricard. I had a great time at Valencia. And,
oh yeah, lots of battles.
Yes, this did turn out to be a good race. Valencia is a track that I think a lot of people don't know too much about. It doesn't see too much, racing beyond the national. And so I think this was a surprisingly great race.
In any case, until next week for the ASRC race, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other at the podium. Bye.
I was have a misunderstanding, honestly, like in qualifying and since briefing, because the rules are changing every time, but no one from drivers are changing their